Welcome to Shoot Like a Girl, a podcast featuring interviews with extraordinary military women from around the world who push their limits on and off duty. I'm your host, Kate Stewart, and this is episode number 7. For today's episode, I don't have a guest. I wanted to do something special for Remembrance Day, so I thought I would profile 9 Canadian servicewomen who have lost their lives since the year 2000. When we think of war, we do not automatically associate it with women, and yet women have long been called on to play important roles alongside men in times of war. At first, they often served as military nurses, but over time, they've gradually come to occupy roles that were traditionally reserved for men. From the research that has been done to date, it has been estimated that since Confederation, nearly 200 women have died while serving in the Canadian military. It is important to take the time to think about these women and, at the same time, to remember all of the women and men who have served our country in times of war, military conflict, and peace. The information gathered from today's episode has come from various sources, including the Canadian Virtual War Memorial, various obituaries, and news articles. I apologize if I've made any errors or if any of the information is incorrect.
Carry me softly down the highway of heroes. True patriot love, there was never more.
Captain Julianne Mackenzie, 444 Combat Support Squadron. Born May 18th, 1972. Died July 18th, 2002. Julianne Mackenzie died tragically on the 18th of July, 2002 in a helicopter crash near Goose Bay, Labrador, where she was serving as a pilot of a CH-146 Griffin. She was returning from a search and rescue tasking in the vicinity of Davis Inlet, Labrador, endeavoring to locate an overdue fishing vessel. Jules touched the lives of countless people around the world and was distinguished by her zest for life, boundless energy, sense of adventure, and the unerring support she devoted to family and friends. Born in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, she grew up very involved in her community through sports, guiding, and the local pipe and drum band. A very capable piper, her wee body never failed to bellow out a surprising amount of noise to the expectant crowds, often gathered at the Legion. As a self-possessed and intelligent young woman, she joined the Canadian Air Force in 1991, attending basic training in Chilliwack, British Columbia, before moving on to Royal Roads Military College in Victoria. At the college, Jules became involved in the pipes and drums once again, through which she met her best friend and love of her life. Upon graduation in 1995, Jules was married to Robert McMullen, and thereafter they made their home in Victoria. She conducted her flight training in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, and Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, graduating with her wings in April of 1997. She was then posted to 443 Squadron at Patricia Bay near Victoria, where she would fly Sea-King helicopters for Canada's Pacific Fleet upon completion of her training. Jules quickly excelled at her job, earning the confidence of subordinates, peers, and superiors alike as she gracefully coerced her ungainly aircraft off of and onto the heaving deck of a warship at sea. She served in theaters of operation all over the west coast of North America, the Greater Pacific, Southeast Asia, and the Arabian Gulf, earning both her aircraft captain and crew commander qualifications. In March of 2002, she was posted to Gagetown, New Brunswick, where she commenced training on a new airframe, the Griffin. She was posted to Goose Bay, Labrador in June and began flying for 444 Squadron, tasked with tactical support and search and rescue duties. Robert was to join her there in October. All of her family and friends take comfort in knowing that she died in the service of her country, doing a job she loved. Sapper Mary Beth Short, 2 Combat Engineer Regiment. Born January 23, 1980, died September 23, 2002. Sapper Mary Beth Short, a member of 2 Combat Engineer Regiment, died on the 23rd of September 2002 as a result of a training accident at CFB Petawawa involving a light armored vehicle in which she was riding. Mary Beth was born in Comox, BC, the daughter of a military family, and was 22 years of age. She enrolled in the Canadian Forces in January 2000 and completed her basic training at Canadian Forces Base Saint-Jean, Quebec, in March of that year. She completed her Field Engineer Qualification Level 3 training at the Canadian Forces School of Military Engineering in Chilliwack, BC, and her first posting was to 2 Combat Engineer Regiment in Petawawa, Ontario in April 2001. Captain Nicola Goddard, born May 2nd, 1980, died May 17th, 2006. Captain Nicola Goddard was the first female Canadian combat soldier killed in combat and the 16th Canadian soldier killed in Canadian operations in Afghanistan. Born to British and Canadian school teachers in Papua New Guinea, Goddard spent most of her childhood in various locations, including Black Lake and Lac La Ronge, Saskatchewan. She attended junior high in Edmonton, Alberta, and high school in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Nicknamed Care Bear by her ski team in Nova Scotia, her hobbies included cross-country skiing and running, and she had competed in biathlon events. She led a scout troop with her fiancé, and later her husband, Jason Beam, while they were officer cadets at the Royal Military College in Kingston, Ontario, and owned 2 dogs and 2 cats. Captain Goddard arrived in Afghanistan in January 2006 and had been serving with the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry as a forward observation officer at the time of her death. Her parent unit was the 1st Regiment Royal Canadian Horse Artillery. She was known as a forceful and secure commander whose troops were extremely loyal. Goddard was killed on May 17, 2006 during a firefight in the Panjwai district. It was a joint 2-day operation between Canadian and Afghan troops to secure Kandahar's outskirts after a rumor of Taliban preparations to launch an assault on the city. Nicola Goddard's death in 2006 shocked the country. Many Canadians at the time believed that military combat was a job for men. The death of a female soldier was therefore newsworthy. Indeed, Goddard's life and death received more media attention than any of the other 158 soldiers who were killed in Afghanistan. According to her family and friends, Goddard despised gender stereotypes and viewed herself as an equal among her male counterparts. Her story revealed that women were on the front lines putting their lives at risk and moving up the ranks. Goddard Lake in Saskatchewan was named in her honor in 2014, as were the Canadian Coast Guard ship Captain Goddard, MSM, commissioned in 2014, and Captain Nicola Goddard School in Calgary, Alberta. The Captain Nicola Goddard Memorial Sword is presented annually to the best regular officer training plan artillery senior cadet at the college. True Patriot Love's Captain Nicola Goddard Fund provides national funding to community programs that support servicewomen, female veterans, and their families. October 25th, 2008. Ariel passed away tragically at CFB Petawawa on Saturday, October 25th, 2008, at 19 years of age. Ariel was born in Cambridge, graduated from KCI in Kitchener, and was attending Carleton University in Ottawa. Among her many interests were music, horseback riding, and kickboxing. Ariel was a Sea Cadet at number 94 Warspite in Kitchener for 5 years, and next month would have been her 2-year anniversary in the Army. She attained her Gunner's Hat badge this past summer. Ariel was involved in 3 regiments, the Highland Fusiliers of Cambridge and the 11th and 30th Field Regiments of the Royal Canadian Artillery. Trooper Karine Blais, born January 4th, 1988, died April 13th, 2009. Trooper Karine Blais was a dedicated, determined woman who was a perfectionist. In school, classmates and teachers loved her. When she joined cadets, she was a favorite among her leaders there too. After her positive experiences as a cadet, it was not a huge surprise to anyone when she joined the military in 2006. From a young age, Karine was mature. She often corrected adults when she thought they were wrong. That trait extended throughout her life. She always told the truth, even if the other person didn't want to hear it. At the same time, she was always ready with comforting words for those around her in need. Karine enjoyed sports, such as hockey and skating, and solo pursuits such as writing and listening to music. Tinkering with things was another passion. She did some carpentry at work and liked playing with the mechanics of cars. Before going overseas, she got her qualifications to drive a Coyote. Karine committed herself fully to everything she did. For a time, she worked at La Maison des Jeunes, a place for youths to seek support. She loved her work in the military, and she was well respected by her squadron as a soldier who always gave 100%. Karine enjoyed chatting with her mother, whom she spoke of often to her friends and colleagues. She also liked hanging out or going to parties with her friends and her partner. She was a bit of a clown who loved to hide and then pounce out from behind things to see if she could make others jump in fright. Karine also found joy in everyday life, which showed in her sincere smile and her hearty laugh. She will be remembered through a street, a park, and a school grant, which have been named in her honor. Major Michelle Mendez, Canadian Armed Forces Intelligence Branch. Born July 21st, 1978, died April 23rd, 2009. Major Michelle Mendez was part of the Canadian Armed Forces Intelligence Branch assigned to Task Force Afghanistan headquarters, deployed with the Canadian contingent of NATO forces. Aged 30. She died at the Kandahar Airfield Base. Major Mendez grew up on her family's apple farm near Wicklow, Ontario. She graduated in 2001 with a history degree from the Royal Military College in Kingston. She was a Scholar of War, earning a master's degree in conflict analysis and resolution at Ottawa's Carleton University in 2003 that she used in her work on counterterrorism as a military intelligence officer. On a previous tour of duty in Afghanistan, a captain at the time, she was attached to a military intelligence unit. She was described as a person who tried to make life more enjoyable for those around her by baking cookies, making cards, or just being there when they needed a friendly ear. She always strove to do her best and was respected for her professional knowledge and work ethic. The world will be an emptier place without her presence. Master Corporal Crystal Giesbrecht, Medical Branch. Born October 2nd, 1975, died June 26, 2010. Master Corporal Crystal Giesbrecht was attached to the 1st Battalion Royal Canadian Regiment Battle Group. The 34-year-old medic died June 26 in Kandahar Province while on her second tour of duty in Afghanistan. She was born in Wallaceburg, Ontario, and was a member of one Canadian field hospital based at CFB Petawawa in the Ottawa Valley. She was married, and she was a fit, dedicated, and fun-loving medical technician serving her second tour in Afghanistan. She was a mentor and an inspiration for her fellow medical technicians. Crystal loved life to the fullest. She was a wonderful friend, always opening her heart to everyone in need. She prided herself on health and fitness, although she always felt the solution to any problem could be found in a box of chocolates. Crystal was a heavenly blessing to everyone she met. She was the truest of friends, able to raise the spirits of all in her presence with her angelic smile and unquenchable enthusiasm for life. Crystal enjoyed any competition, and whether it was a marathon, a simple game of Scrabble with friends, or a cash game of poker with a commanding officer, she was always playing to win and would let you know when she had. She was as capable of helping those in need with her gentle touch and caring words as she was with her experience and professional medical skills earned as a medical technician with one Canadian field hospital in CFB Petawawa. Crystal was proud to serve her country, and while she cherished all of her contributions and accomplishments as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, they could never compare to her love and devotion to her friends and family. Sub-Lieutenant Abigail Cobra, HMCS Fredericton, born July 22, 1996, died April 29, 2020. The 23-year-old Marine Systems Engineering Officer was one of 6 Canadian Armed Forces members aboard a CH-148 Cyclone helicopter when it crashed into the Ionian Sea on April 29th. Abigail was originally from Toronto but made her home in the Halifax area. Friends and family have described the young woman as a charismatic, determined individual with a bubbly personality and a love of music. An accomplished bagpiper and Highland dancer, Cobra attended Royal Military College in Kingston, Ontario, where she was in charge of the pipe band for a semester. Just a week before her death, she posted a video of her playing the bagpipes aboard HMCS Fredericton in Suda Bay, Crete, to honor the victims of a mass shooting in Nova Scotia on April 18th and 19th. You can travel the world and still never meet anyone like an East Coaster. Glad to have been taken in by them, for I'd have it no other way, Cobra wrote in the video's post. Captain Jen Casey, Snowbirds. Born March 1st, 1985, died May 17th, 2020. Captain Jennifer Casey tragically lost her life in Kamloops, British Columbia, while supporting an important mission that seemed designed for her. Operation Inspiration was a mission with one focus: making Canadians happy in a time of uncertainty, and there was no better person in the world to carry out that mission than Jen. Her beautiful smile and positively infectious personality could brighten anyone's day, and she proudly served the mission as she flew across our great nation with a team that she adored, the Snowbirds. Jen was fearless and determined with her work. She always knew what had to be done and had a stand back and watch me attitude. She frequently led the charge when it came to public affairs in the Royal Canadian Air Force, something of which she was enormously proud. She was able to make everyone around her want to be better without trying to change them. When not soaring with the snowbirds, you could find her sampling selections from a local brewery or winery, curled up on the couch watching Star Wars with her partner Scott, or listening to her favorite band, the Tragically Hip. Jen had an artistic flair and was always eager to take on any new craft or creation. Always active, she loved to cycle and distance run. Not content with just any race, Jen scaled the steep mountains of Cape Breton while participating in the Cabot Trail Relay, and was more than happy to rub Scott's nose in the fact that she was more hardcore than he was. Jen held a Bachelor of Arts from Dalhousie University, a Bachelor of Journalism from the University of King's College, and a Master of Interdisciplinary Studies from Royal Roads University. She came to the Canadian Armed Forces through the Public Affairs branch, which introduced her to her brothers and sisters in the military. As a member of the Royal Canadian Air Force, she played a valued and essential role. In 2018, Jen worked with the CF-18 demo team as the team's public affairs officer, narrator, and coordinator. Jen excelled in these roles so much that she was handpicked to join 431 Air Demonstration Squadron, the Snowbirds, a job and a team that she adored. Thank you for listening. I hope wherever you are today that you take some time to remember.
Bye.